Hey, I hope this angle's okay because it's duct taped to the dashboard currently because I lost the screw for the fucking thing. Does that matter to you? No. I'm leaving Las Vegas, not for the first time and not in the Nicolas Cage fashion. Just leaving. It's fine. I had a really nice time actually, I have to say. You saw a video for you guys that will be last night, or excuse me, 1 week ago. For me, it was last night. That's how I do it. Come on, I gotta put a video out every week. All right, it's not that easy to put a video out every week. Sometimes you gotta record a couple, you know. Plus, I just turn on the camera and record whenever I feel like it. Y'all feel me? I have a few thoughts, a few things I'm ruminating on, unintentionally. You know, people are like, "Let me ruminate on that for a while." Let me? I wish I could control my thinking in that fashion. Isn't that always the great debate amongst spiritualists and pseudo-spiritualists, people in the meditation community and such, is whether or not you can control your thinking? I don't know. I don't think you can really control your thinking or your feelings to any reasonable extent. Do you think you can direct them a little bit, guide them, mitigate them, but control? I don't think so. So why don't I just go ahead and get right into it and share my thoughts. You know, I'm not gonna tell you everything, but I do want to say I'm kind of touched by one person watching will hate this. I won't name him or her, but thinking about homelessness. You know who you are. You know who it is. It's funny because generationally, the Gen Xers in my generation and the ones before, especially from the Midwest, pretty hardened perspective, a little bit lacking in empathy, a little bit heartless perspective on homeless people in general. Not everybody, and I'm not talking about like my parents. Like my dad definitely has a soft spot. Every time he goes, which means every time he goes to an intersection, there's a guy with a sign. He gives him a little bit of money and says I felt so bad for the guy, which I have to say I appreciate. It's interesting to think that, and don't think I'm gonna go talking about homeless people and try to change your mind about anything. I'm not. But I come from a place where you're really given a certain perspective on them, and it's not a positive one. And it's, forget about negative or positive, I guess. It's just not very empathetic. And I guess that's fine, you know. That's how people think, but just, you know, you're basically, that's Shelby Township, right? That's where I'm from. You're basically taught that they're dangerous, that they just don't work, and that's why they don't have anything, and they're living on the streets, that they're drug addicts, that they're depraved. And there's a lot more to it than that. Are those, in some cases, elements? Sure. I've met enough homeless people to know that there are homeless people. A homeless person told me this, that, you know, programs come to the park and offer them jobs and stuff. Like, let's rehabilitate you. Some of them don't want it. And that's totally fine, too. I think I romanticize not having a house, car, job. Maybe some of you, kids, family, whatever. It's interesting to think that you could just be out there living. Is that really living, though? I mean, it's... Again, I can't say anything intelligent about homelessness. I don't know the truth. I don't know the full scope of it. I just don't know. But it's interesting. So Shelby Township, you're taught those things about them. They're dangerous. They're drug addicts. They don't want this. We all know that if you're out in the street for long enough and nobody says your name, you don't see anybody that calls you by your name, that you know, they tend to develop some mental problems, right? I guess I'm a little bit, in Spanish they would say impressed, but not in that way. I'm finding it remarkable how strong those, the stereotypes that were taught to me about homeless people, I still feel them. And that's not a surprise when you learn something at a young age. It goes pretty deep, right? And by the way, I'm in Vegas, leaving Vegas, as I said. Hence, I'm thinking about homeless people. Let's just say I had some involvement, all right? I'm not gonna expand beyond that for a number of reasons. You're like, did you get your dick sucked by a hobo? No. Did you give your extra piece of pizza to a hobo? No. And you know what? The question to all these is going to be no, because some of them are true. And I'll stop asking them now. But getting my dick sucked by a hobo is not one of them. But there is something funny about like people giving up white knight stuff. You know about that? People who do good things, who give, let's say the kid who, it's not reparations, but they got the stimulus, who got his stimulus check, $600, and he makes a video of himself giving. My God, there's a new Cirque du Soleil. I say that like I know anything about it. I only went for the first time this weekend, and I fucking loved it. Anyhow, a kid makes a video of him giving money to the homeless, or giving money to a guy who didn't get, what's it called again? Stimulus. I hate that shit. I almost don't really like the topic I'm discussing because I don't want it to in any way be construed as that. Well, I'm being so vague and cryptic. Let me move on. Let me just say, though, that the town I live in really does not have many homeless people. And when you go to a place like Vegas and you just see how many there are and maybe you have some interaction, it's really something. And I don't mean like, hey, did you see the new Batman movie, honey? It's really something. No, I don't mean it like that. It leaves an impression on you. Makes you think about some things. I had a Cuban, let me talk about my privileged life. Privilege apology, hashtag warning, privilege apology, trigger alert, save space. Just kidding, I'm not apologizing for anything. I'm just celebrating the fact that I had a really good Cuban flan, a couple pieces of Cuban pizza, and a Cuban espresso. And my, oh my, it was truly very good. All right, few thoughts. Again, nothing groundbreaking or super remarkable here, but I'm thinking of the concept of reward in the afterlife. As I was sipping my espresso and eating my Cuban flan, which if you don't like flan, I guess I get it because it's a little eggy, but they're just so fucking good. It's like fucking flan, you know? So I was thinking about rewards in the afterlife, which to me is a completely vapid concept. There is no afterlife, in my opinion. Shouldn't even say it's my opinion. My impression, my understanding, my beliefs, right? And I was just sitting there fascinated, thinking about like how many people really do things because of their expectations of the afterlife. Which even, it's hard for me to even say that now and not immediately dismiss the whole concept as being utterly ludicrous. And that feels a little bit mean and a little bit judgmental and dismissive of a lot of people's beliefs. And at the same time, do I need to hide? Do I need to suppress my own beliefs? Do I need to keep it a secret how I feel? No. I hope I'm being polite about it. But can I think of a good parallel? It's like if you believed, you know what? Nobody has any problem dismissing Scientology or being really mean about that, which fair enough, go ahead. Oh, but that's different. They do this and they do that. All right, fine. The big three religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, they haven't done anything bad ever. Okay, right? Especially their intertwinings with the just say the various political factions of the last a long time. All right, I'm not a historian. I was gonna say like thousands of years, but I don't remember Western civilization. I remember what I was reading at the time. I was reading Atlas Shrugged, or was it The Fountainhead? It was an Ayn Rand book. I know everybody fucking hates her. I haven't read her in years, but she was a great writer, and her novels were really special. In particular, look, Anthem is good. You read it once, it takes you a day. We the Living is cool in its own way, but obviously Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged are, come on, literary masterpieces. I won't talk about Ayn Rand anymore, except to say that I thought of her as a little preachy, but I never thought of her books as being particularly like philosophy based. I was just, I don't know, maybe it was at a time in my life where I was really trying to be my best or something. I'd be curious to revisit Ayn Rand, honestly would. Where's these motherfuckers going? So, anyhow, back to rewards in the afterlife. again, I can't say it without just thinking, oh, a pretend concept, a fake concept. And I know people, I was just talking about this with my buddies. I know that people want to believe in an afterlife. I know how dismal and utterly soul-crushing, even though I think we don't have souls and being hyperbolic here, how utterly soul-crushing an idea it is that this is all there is and then you're dead. That could be dark. That could be dark, you know, for a lot of people. I think the more, let's just say, lukewarm, right-thinking, reasonably, I don't even know the right word. I'm thinking of atheists who aren't assholes. Can I just say that? I know atheists who aren't assholes. Can I make it right here? It looks okay. Imagine. Right on camera. You'd love that. It'd be my most popular video. Those atheists, the ones who aren't assholes, I think they're not that afraid of death. I mean, once you've really just accepted the fact that there isn't anything. God, that sounds dismal, but I'm just trying to be real. That's where I'm at. You know that's where I'm at. Doesn't mean it's true. To me, it is almost certainly, like, unequivocally true. But that's just because I can't really make myself, I can't want myself, I can't wish myself into being convinced of something that has no scientific basis. And I'm not like, oh, I need the scientific method, the experiments, I need to see the evidence. It's like, no, but sort of, you know, I don't need it like on paper. I don't need like a book or an experiment that quantifies it or spells it out. But you know what? When I think of evidence, it's like Peter's driving a car and talking into a camera right now. Let's just consider that as a empirical truth for a second, right? It's really based on observation. I'm like, all right, here's me, Peter, was born, got the birth certificate, parents named me. I think I'm here, pretty sure. Where am I? Las Vegas. Okay, but where's Miss? Oh, I'm in a car. And what are you doing? Well, I'm not standing still. It feels like I'm moving. I'm around a lot of other cars that are moving. And I'm also talking to this little thing here. Okay, you know what? It seems true. Peter is driving a car and talking into a camera. You've convinced me. And notice, there was really not much ambiguity about it, okay? There wasn't much mystery. There weren't too many gaps where it was like, but you don't know this or you don't know that. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And I've more or less come to think of a lot of stuff that way, including anything supernatural. Because take your pick. We have spirits. All right, well, what indicates that? It's a feeling I have. Whoa, you lost me there. I have a lot of feelings, and it doesn't change reality. And they're not really factual in most cases. Oh, but the Bible. Oh, the Bible? What's factual about the Bible? I say that, I don't even know, like, you hear things sometimes, the more ambitious, again, I'm trying not to be judgy here, but the more ambitious Christians, the religious folk, like to kind of point to what they perceive as like a historicity or some sort of like some factual validity of those sacred books, right? And again, I'm not trying to shit on religion, not trying to shit on people who believe in it, but like just being like, but it's in the Bible. That is like, what? That's just not anything that even closely resembles an empirical truth or like body of evidence to me. And I hate to say it, but in an objective sense, it doesn't either. Forget about me. I mean, show me in a objective sense what validity a sacred text has in terms of like reflecting reality or truth, right? I know it's so dead and tired to talk about religion, but I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about it for years. You know. There's a long history of that with me. And I went through a lot of different phases of it from childhood until now. But it's interesting, I just haven't left now. I've been in the more or less like atheist, don't believe in anything supernatural camp. Oh, back to that. I've been there for years now, at least like a good 4 or 5 years. Maybe more. Prior to that, I sure wasn't. Alright, this motherfucker's pissing me off. What kind of car is this? I can't even tell. Do I care? Pacifica? Anybody? I don't know what that is. So, goodbye Las Vegas, by the way. God damn, I had a nice time. It was really fun. And you know, by the way, let me divert from my religious conversation for a second, because I know it's so captivating and compelling that you were mad that I'm going away from it for a second. But you know what's really nice about Las Vegas? I had friends, all right? And I'm sorry to see you, Igor. I was only here for, I say this every time, if you're still listening. One time I'll be here for more than like 2 full days with some sort of like high school reunion agenda, and I will fucking see if you want to go to the bad anal, or something. Go have some fun. But yeah, I had friends here, and I don't have friends in my town. Alex Barton, if you're listening, you qualify as a friend. But we don't hang out, you know. You got kids. I got my life. I'm sure for him, that's not a reason not hang out. I guess it's not for me either. I don't know. I don't want to examine that relationship right now. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to examine. But these were people I've known for years here in Vegas, you know. Known each other since high school and hung out. And that's kind of what it was like when I visited my cousins in San Francisco. It's like, it's so great to have people around that, you know, care about you and you like. Really special. I don't have that in my day-to-day life in Utah. It's just me and the cats. Crystal, you are a friend, by the way, a good friend, and I hope that you understand. I just take it for granted that I don't include you in the conversation because you're like, there's nothing to discuss. You're an actual friend. Does that make sense? Your ears perk up. Okay, I guess I do have friends. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, alright? I had a nice time in Vegas, alright? And you know what? I would live here, I think. Although, I gotta share something, and I said a little bit about this last night, about how fucked this place would be if there was the water... Not if, when the water crisis happens. That's really true. It sounds like science fiction, but... Igor, if you're still listening, gotta get those 55 gallons of water at least. But again, the thing that's like, you know, the place I live in would have a serious fucking problem too. There's no water there. I guess the difference to me is the population. There's less, I want to say less than 100,000 people in Washington County, Utah. And there's a lot of people who prep. Prepping is pretty big there. You know, I have a lot of water. I got 55 gallons in a spare bedroom. And then I keep, at any given time, 25 gallons of drinking water on hand as well for my regular rotation, not the stored stuff. That would last me a while, me and the cats. You know, people don't like doomsaying, and I get it. Doomsaying is like really scary. It makes you uncomfortable. Doomsaying, the doomsayers. I'm not trying to, you know what? Can we forget about if I'm a doomsayer or not? We just talk for a second about that there really is a water rights issue, especially in this part of the country, and that they put, water futures on the fucking New York Stock Exchange for the first time, what was that, about a year ago? Which, if you don't know about that, sort of kind of indicates that water scarcity is just not that far off, as most optimistic people would like to think. I'm just talking facts here. Those are facts. And they do have a fucking water situation in this part of the world. Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona. And Utah's not very friendly about it. I don't know. If you want to go read about water rights and this centuries-old contract they have, go do it. But anyhow, the thing so here in Vegas, I don't know what the population is. It's got to be a couple million, though, I'm guessing. And it's hot. It's the hottest state. Excuse me, it's the driest state in the U.S. And Las Vegas is the driest fucking city in that state. Again, not trying to scare anybody, and Igor, if you're still listening, certainly not trying to scare you. I'm thinking about this place, and again, like water and Mad Max futuristic, and yet a completely plausible situation. It's kind of like, so why am I thinking about it? Because I was like, I would live here. I finally have realized I would live in Las Vegas. I actually like it. Why am I saying actually? I hate when people do. Actually, it was pretty good. Oh, were you expecting it to taste like a pile of shit? Is that why you said actually it's pretty good? And I guess that is kind of what it is. Like most people, myself included, I think they just think a lot of stuff sucks and it's not good. So when something is good or remarkable or exceptional, you're like, actually, yeah, it was really good. Which, so I guess I get it there. I've explained that. I can fucking move on. But I don't know. I had a really cool time in downtown Las Vegas, outside of Fremont Street. It's really cool. Fremont Street's cool too, for what it is. I fucking love magic, you know. All I gotta say, Magicians on the Strip, they have some fucking chops, some of them, and I respect that, but they're not that good. They're not. Sorry to say, I can do a lot of the stuff they can do, you know. So we talked about Mad Max, doomsaying, future, post-apocalyptic, or actually apocalyptic. Think about apocalypse. I wonder what that term really means. I'm gonna have to look that up, because we all say it, right? In a post-apocalyptic society. Which traditionally in the world of narrative fiction means zombies came and went, or maybe are still around. Chemical weapons, really bad pandemic. Let me say it again. Really bad pandemic, or war, right? Nuclear war. That's what we think about. You don't think about just like there's not water anymore. I mean, if you like Waterworld a lot, does anybody like Waterworld? I'm really curious to rewatch it. It's kind of amazing they spent all that money and all that work, and the movie just was a flop. I'd love to check it out again. I'd love to actually have a conversation with somebody who's like in love with Waterworld. Not because it's funny to judge them or anything, just because like I'd like to know. I guess I kind of know what's good about it. I just don't remember it being that good. But I remember a lot of jet skis. Hands off to the Waterworld attraction at where is that? Orlando? No, that's in Universal Studios, LA. Interestingly enough. LA, what a place. I do miss it. Funny, right when I left the hotel to go meet with my buddies, I was like walking down the street and I was like, God, I miss being in a city so much. And it's kind of interesting that I'm even thinking like I can't live in a city because it's not a safe place to be if, as the preppers like to say, if the shit hits the fan, which could be any number of emergencies or crisis. I mean, take your pick. I'm just in a place where I don't think we live in a world where it's any longer safe to assume. And maybe it never was. But look at the history, you know, New York's been safe for a long time. Hashtag 9/11 aside. And some other things. There's plenty of dangerous places. I'm sure somebody gets killed there every day. It's a big city, all right? But am I just, you know, bowing to fear? Am I thinking about fear? Am I like not living my life because of fear? That's true in a lot of ways. I am. Wow, this is really all over the place, but I hope you've stuck with me. Have you? Has anybody? So again, I say that a lot. I think maybe too much. It's interesting. That's good. It was about time I put myself down. I've been waiting too long here. But it's remarkable to me to think like, all right, I can move back to New York City, and I'm like, well, can't have AK-47s, AR-15s, and silencers anymore, which are all legal, by the way, where I live, and most of the states surrounding. I dare say most of the United States, but not New York City, not in California, New Jersey, Illinois, Maryland. Did I cover all the states with the toughest gun laws? So what's the big deal? Why do you need a bunch of guns? I don't need them. But let me just include that in the idea of living in a big city like New York City is like, not only can you not have guns, if there's ever an invasion on U.S. soil, oh, I'm talking crazy now. I'd like to think you'd be better off in fucking Montana than you would in New York City, Vegas, L.A., Detroit, Nashville, Orlando. Alright, I'm going nowhere with this, I guess. I don't know. Am I paranoid? Is that a paranoid thought? Well, what's paranoia? Irrational fear. Is it an irrational fear to suppose that there could one day be an invasion on U.S. soil? I don't think so. Is it an irrational fear to suppose that the U.S. dollar could be devalued to the extent where we have a real economic collapse and perhaps subsequently a societal collapse? I don't think so. Take a look at the fucking dollar right now. I'm not going to get into hyperinflation. Value is an interesting concept, though. Alright, you know what? I might be totally lost here with my thoughts. Might not have had anything too interesting to say to begin with, but I was thinking about homeless people, I was thinking about privilege, I was thinking about water rights in the southwestern quadrant in the United States. I do think about fear a lot, almost every day. You know why? Because it really does and has controlled my life for so long. And life is short, you know? We talked about atheism for a minute because I did want to say one more thing. With the supernatural, people don't like to suppose that religion or spirituality is supernatural. It is, like, by definition it is. It's like, there's not really an argument against it. Some people, oh, but werewolves and aliens are... You know, fuck. The camera turned off there, and I was like, that's probably a sign that I've not fucking saying anything of any value anyhow, and I should just fucking let it go. I was just gonna rehash the thing I was saying about supernatural. You know, it's like vampires are real. It's just, you know, it's so boring. That's it.